Hey guys, this is Charles with C Van Lawn Care, coming to you to talk a little bit about my experiences in growing your business. Uh, a lot of people are out there trying to figure out, I see it all the time, all kinds of YouTube videos on growing your business. You see all these guys talking about play cards, signs, business cards, just you name it. Now, I've been in business for 2 years and I'm going to speak about my experience and hopefully it'll help some of y'all. And I'm still trying to grow. When I started my business 2 years ago, I had one customer. I grew off of that. I tried a bunch of the different tactics that I seen on YouTube, and to be honest, none of them worked for me. And that's not to say they won't work for you, so I'm not telling you don't try them. But I will say this. I printed out flyers, introduction, uh, discounts, first year of mowing. You know, I tried to go by what everybody said was how they was pricing their yards. But where the problem with how everybody else is pricing their yards is they don't live where you do. So what might be the price in one place is not the price in another. But remember this, the day of the $25 yard, it don't exist anymore. Uh, you know, there's several different tactics you can try. You can put business cards up everywhere they'll let you put them. My experience, I haven't got any calls from business cards. You can put little printed out papers in laundromats with little tear off tabs with your number, offering your services. Tried it, haven't got any calls from it. Uh, like I said, I printed out flyers, put them in mailboxes. I offered, discounts for first season mows. I offered various scenarios. I offered 1 month, pay up front, 1 month mow with a certain amount of discount. 90 days worth of mow with a certain amount of discount. Seasonal mows, certain amount of discount. But now these were all if they paid up front on the discounts. None of that worked. Uh, my experience is word of mouth, Google My Business. When I first got my Google My Business, it was through Vistaprint. Whenever I bought business cards from them, I got a discount promo offer to set up my business. I set it up. Had it ever since. I love it. Uh, a lot of my customers come from, I mow one yard. The people next door end up wanting me to mow their yard. I actually have a few different sets of yards. 3 of them are literally side by side. I have another setup where I have one on one side of the street and 2 directly across the street. These are the good accounts because you unload for one, you mow them all 3, or it's just that easy. Um, One of the things I will tell you to watch out for, and I tried it. I was on a mission to grow my business. Real estate agencies. The problem with real estate agencies is the real estate agencies themselves is not going to pay you. They're going to leave that up to their customers to pay you. My experience with that, not any good. I still to this day have not been paid for yards that I mowed last year. Well, now, excuse me, it's 2022, so the year before. Um, One thing I do have to say is I understand you want to grow. If you're trying to make lawn care a business, everybody wants to grow. But if you're growing too fast, there's a problem. No lawn care company grows overnight without there being an issue. Chances are, if you're growing that fast, if you're just 20 accounts a month or whatever adding to your business, that means you're probably underpricing. Everybody's going with you because you're the lowball man. You're the cheapest guy they can find. They don't care about the quality of your work. They don't care about none of that. All they care about is, hey, I can be lazy. I don't have to go mow my yard. It may look like crap, but the city's not going to mess with me. I'm not going to get city violations over my yard paying this cheap guy to cut my grass. I mean, it's just, it is what it is. Excuse me a second. All right. So don't take the cheap man. Don't let the customer set your price. Never do that. I learned the hard way. I have a minimum drop gate fee. My drop gate fee is $35. That is the minimum that I will accept for mowing a yard. Anything less than that, I don't make any money, because you have to factor in a lot of things into the cost of that yard. And your biggest commodity, and most people will say, no, that's not your biggest expense, it's time. All right, you have time driving to the yard from your last account. You have time driving to your next account. So there's one thing, route density. You have time in bidding the property. You have all the time the customer talks to you if they like to come out and talk. You have the time it takes you to mow it. That is your most valuable commodity, your most expensive commodity. It's not gas, it's not mower wear and tear, it's not the cost of your employee. Now, if you're wasting time on that job, and if your employee's wasting time on that job, if you have one, that is a big cost. So there's a lot of things. What I found is I do not want that customer that's just looking for the best deal. Because when I go in to do a job, I want that job to look just like my last job. I want all my jobs to carry my integrity, because the name of my company is on line. My company's integrity is on the line. I edge all my properties, even if it's a one-time cut. Now, I don't recommend one-time cuts, but when you're first starting out, them one-time cuts do pay the bills. What I found, one-time cuts, I go in and I treat them the same way I do my regular customers, and they usually, more often than not, turn into full-time cuts. I'm cutting them every week. I have a lot of my customers that started like that. And just like my regular customers, I edge their sidewalks, I edge their curves, I make their yard look as pristine as I can, because the philosophy you need to go by is this: it doesn't matter how much somebody can afford to spend on their house. That doesn't matter at all. It doesn't matter if their yard's half dirt. They go home, they want their yard so they can be comfortable. If they want to sit outside, they want to be comfortable in their yard. If their yard looks like crap, they can't be comfortable in it. So your job is to give them the best quality of lawn care that you can. You do that, people see that. If you take a rag and make it look like a flower, people see that. I've had customers that I've picked up. I went in and done things to their lawns, the way I mow them, the way I edge them, the way I blow them, everything. And they tell me that I have made their yard look so much better than it's ever looked before, no matter who's mowed it. I mean, there's just a lot of pitfalls, there's a lot of tricks, there's a lot of things that you have to put in it. Lawn care is not easy work. Lawn care is long hours. If it's your business, even if it's your part-time business, there's paperwork. You got to keep track of your paperwork, because I'm going to tell you now, if Uncle Sam finds out you're making this money, and there's a lot of money to be made in lawn care, and if Uncle Sam finds out you're making this and not paying no taxes on it, he's going to get you. There's scheduling your routes. You got to figure out what order you're going to run them in, what yard's going to be on what route. This all takes time. There's more that valuable quality, your most wasted commodity. You have to keep track of receipts, because chances are, if you're watching this video, you're trying to get started and you can't afford an accountant. As soon as you get there, I recommend it, because the accountant's going to make life so much easier. I recommend finding a program like Yard Books or one of the others. Even if you just use the free version, it makes life so much easier. You know, there's a lot of stuff out there, people talking about this yard accounting system or that yard accounting system. Me personally, I use Yard Books. I mean, it may not be the best, I don't know, but I'm happy with it. It makes my life easy. It makes my wife's life a lot easier, because my wife does a lot of my paperwork for me. She does a lot of my billing for me. One of the things you also need to remember when you're dealing with these people, when you're out here mowing yards, picking up yards, you need to establish a payment system. Whether it's them mailing you a check, whether it's them leaving your money in a hidden spot, you need to establish a schedule on your payments, whether it's going to be weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. I don't recommend monthly unless you get it up front. I don't recommend bi-weekly unless you get it up front. A lot of people will tell you don't even mow weekly unless you get it up front. Because see, here's the problem. The lawn care guy is the last guy to get paid. All other bills come before you. You'll mow, no money. You'll mow, no money. Well, then next thing you know, you've mowed for a month and you haven't been paid. Now they're getting deeper in debt to you, and they're building up a larger expense, and that's cutting into their bill money for their other things. So you got to think about that. You let them get that far in, you're probably not going to get paid. You're just an expense that they can't afford to take care of. And I'm sorry, it ain't like building a house, and it's not like working on a car. You can't put a lien on their yard. You just can't do that. I mean, you can pound on their door every day asking them for money. You can send them a text message every day asking for your money. You can call them every day asking for your money. But that don't mean they're going to pay you. Eventually, you'll give up and you just lost that money. I mean, I have accounts from this year that I still haven't collected money from. It's just the nature of the beast of lawn care. Let's see, what else? Equipment. I'm not going to tell you to run out and buy brand new equipment, but I'm going to tell you this. Even if you buy used equipment, it's going to be expensive. Make sure your equipment, if you buy used, is good equipment. I mean, go on YouTube. Watch videos on the various mowers and look at the older stuff and see how long it's lasted, see the problems it's having. You're looking at new stuff. Check those mowers out. You can pick up the stats and reviews and statistics on new mowers. Every mower has them. Watch them. Your leaf blowers, your weed eaters, and so on and so on. Check them out. Look at your statistics versus your price. If you're just starting out, chances are you don't have the money to run out and buy a brand new Ferris Z3X or one of them. You just can't do it. You know, I mean, there's a few that can, but the average guy can't do it. I still can't afford a brand new mower, but I'm working on it. I've been in business for 2 years, and I ended this season with around 44 accounts. And that's a slow, steady growth. Now, granted, there's been ups and downs and pitfalls throughout my business. A lot of things have happened. I've lost accounts. I've gained accounts. I mean, it just happens. No backup mower, your equipment breaks, you're going to lose accounts because you can't get to them, because people want their yard mowed and they don't want an excuse. They don't want to hear, oh, my mower's broke. As far as they're concerned, you should have another mower. You need to be there mowing their yard. Customer interaction. If you're scheduled to mow a yard, if they know you're going to be there that day, be there. If you're not going to be there, you need to let them know you're not going to be there, but when you're going to be there. You don't have to go into detail about everything. I mean, it could be weather, it could be a family emergency, it could even be a broken mower. You don't have to go into detail, but let them know when you're looking to be there, and don't put them off till the next week. Get there ASAP, and don't make it a habit of putting them off. Because if you make it a habit of putting them off, they're going to see you as unreliable, and they're going to go find somebody else. It's just, again, the nature of the beast. Lawn care is one of the most cutthroat industries that there is. I mean, it's just how it is. I live in a town with a population of somewhere between 9,000 and 12,000 people. There's, off the top of my head, I'd say about 50 lawn care companies here. So if I don't show up to mow Joe Blow's yard, and I don't tell him when I'm going to show up to mow his yard, there's somebody else that will show up and mow that yard. They may not do as good a work as me. They may do better work than me. I don't know. But there's somebody going to show up to do that yard. Now, you may get lucky and they just hired them for a one-time mow until you can get back. But then you may get unlucky and they fire you. And a lot of times they won't even call you and tell you you're fired. You'll just show up and see their yards mowed, or you'll show up and see somebody mowing their yard. And a lot of times, if that's the case, they won't even talk to you. They'll just avoid your phone calls, not answer the door, whatever. If they owed you money and they hired somebody else, well, they just don't see they need to pay you. If you make it a habit of not showing up on your scheduled day, even if you call them and let them know, they're going to see you as unreliable, and Joe Blow's going to show up and start mowing that yard. You lost that yard. It's just what it is. And whatever you do not underbid your yards. You know, get to know the other guys in the lawn care industry in your area. I mean, they're your competition, but they're not against you. Now, a few of them may be, but they're not against you. I know, and I'm friends with multiple lawn care business owners in my area. I mean, some of them I consider friends. And if I call them up, I mean, I've got a good enough rapport for them. If I need to know how to price something, I'll call them up. I'll say, hey, this is what I've got going on. What would you recommend I charge for this? Or how would you recommend I do this? And more often than not, they'll tell me what they would. I mean, you can't necessarily go by what they would, because they may look at it a different way, but they can give you an idea. And another reason you want to be friends with your other lawn care business owners is if they don't have time to do something, they can forward it on to you. If it's something that they don't do, but they know you do that, they can forward it on to you. I have picked up multiple jobs because these guys that I know in the business here have recommended me, because either they didn't want to do it or they didn't do that kind of work. I even have a guy 45 minutes away. He primarily does lawn care, but you know, he sells other jobs, you know, flower beds, reseeding yards, things like that. Guess who he calls if he needs somebody to come help him with these kind of jobs? He calls me. I just went and built a small retaining wall for him. Now I got to go back and fix a couple of the top blocks because for whatever reason they shifted, but he's got faith in me. He paid me out of all the people he could have paid. I mean, it's friends in the industry is good to have. YouTube channels. You know, this is a good place to come learn and grow. Improve your business, get tips and tricks and strategies, which that's the whole intention of this YouTube channel, is to bring tips and tricks and reviews and how-tos and all that to you guys. I mean, I'm not greedy. I learned some of what I know from here. Some of it I already knew. I learned some of what I know from people that I know. I mean, nobody's going to grow if everybody keeps the information to themselves. So my goal with this channel is to reach out and give you a hand up. I'm not going to hide nothing from you. You may not like what I say, but I'm not going to hide it from you. And I'm hoping that one of these days, one of these bigger channels, and see what I'm trying to do, gets behind me, supports what I'm doing, maybe promote me or share my videos. If they don't, it's no big deal. I'm not going to quit watching their channels. You know, some of the channels I watch, they're not okay with some of the other channels I watch, but that's them, that's not me. I watch a variety of lawn care channels. This guy may talk bad about that guy, this guy may be this guy may be that. It don't matter. There's something to be gained from all of them. But remember this, them guys that are out there telling you all you need is a mower, all you need is a mower, business cards, and truck, you can get out there and do it. It ain't that easy. I'm going to tell you now also, have good shoes. You're going to want good shoes. You're going to want comfortable clothes. And you're going to want the most comfortable mower you can find, whether it's a stand-up or a sit-down. I've used them both. Now, I hadn't used a stand-up until this year, but they definitely have their place. Now, they're going to be more expensive as well, but they have their place. You know, I'm not going to go into detail about, you know, buying out other companies because I already have a video on that. So, I mean, it's there. It's in my videos if you want to go watch it. So you can go check that out and give you my opinion on that, you know, my experience on that, you know, because I did that. I bought out another company this year. So you can go find all that. So, I mean, that's just basics. If you have any questions about anything I've said or maybe something I didn't say, leave it in the comments. If you liked what I had to say, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and share the video if you know somebody else looking for this kind of information. Share my channel, get me out there. Let me help you grow just like I'm trying to grow. Maybe you can even help me grow. So that's it for this video. Y'all have a nice evening. See you next time around.